Oh my god, you guys. Oh my god, I can't believe this is actually happening. But all of the Brandon Sanderson books, yeah, they had been bought and now they're going to be made into movies. Oh my fucking god, I'm freaking out. Oh my god. I know this has nothing to do with Jack Reacher, but I just had to say that. Oh my god, this is going to be amazing. Okay, talking about Jack Reacher now. Hello and welcome back to another Midnight Showing. As always, I'm Kelly and I just got out of Jack Reacher. A pretty lackluster sequel, if you ask me. For those curious, my thoughts on the first one is that it's basically a decent action movie that avoids a lot of Tom Cruise isms and does showcase a guy who we don't really get to see, who does have the Terminator-esque qualities of being basically unstoppable. But if you catch him off guard, like with a baseball bat to the back of the head, he can go down just as easily as everybody else. That and the mystery inside of that movie was pretty decent and well thought out. Can't say the same about this movie. Yeah, if you can't already tell, this one doesn't really hold up as well, especially when you compare it to the first one. Maybe it holds up better if you compare the books that these are based on, but overall, just looking at the movies themselves, this sequel kinda sucks. Well, enough beating around the bush. Let's start with... So the movie actually opens pretty damn well by establishing that Jack Reacher is still doing his Jack Reacher stuff. It's just that now he's basically doing work for hire for Maria Hill. Person who plays Maria Hill. Huh. And truth be told, Colby Smulders, I think I said that right, apologize if I didn't, she was probably the best part of this movie. She does give us that badass persona we're used to seeing from her when she's playing like Maria Hill and whatnot, but she's a lot more upbeat and willing to make jokes, a little bit closer, similar to what she was doing on How I Met Your Mother, just she did actually get serious there. She has some really good back and forth with Tom Cruise as Jack Reacher inside of this, even if the ones that failed kind of bombed epically, but we'll get to that inside of the next section. Also, I would like to say that Danica Rarush, sorry, I cannot pronounce names today. I would just like to say that I'm glad to see that your career didn't get completely destroyed by the abomination that was Heroes Reborn. Just want to say that. Also, for what it's worth, the action in the movie was surprisingly decent. Not as good as the action inside of the first Jack Reacher, but if you were to look at this movie on its own merits, the action is pretty entertaining. I could easily see someone enjoying it just for that aspect. But yeah, I think we need to talk about where this movie falls apart. So let's move on. The big problem with this movie is its depiction of Jack Reacher. Not saying that Tom Cruise did a bad job of portraying this. I don't want to make it out that, oh, he's a bad actor or anything. No. He's a really good actor, especially in action movies. But the problem with his character here is that, I'm sorry, it's not Jack Reacher. As I said at the beginning, what made Jack Reacher interesting is that he always seemed like he was on top of things. He was always two steps ahead of you. That he actually could think through these situations and come out on top. Even when he's outnumbered, outgunned, and even outclassed, he always felt that he had some semblance of grip on the situation. In this movie, Jack Reacher is almost entirely reactive. He's constantly getting his ass kicked, and frankly speaking, I figured out what the fucking plan in this story was within the first 30 minutes of the movie. You're telling me that Jack fucking Reacher couldn't figure this out until presented with the last-ditch evidence 20 minutes before the ending? Seriously? Bottom line, it feels like they're writing a different character here. And considering this is supposed to be Jack Reacher, that's a bad thing. And I kind of already said this, but let's talk about the story and how stupidly simplistic it was. And yet it did everything in its power to try to convince you that it's the most complex, interesting plan possible. So yeah, the overall thing here is that Maria Hill gets charged with treason because a couple of her people got shot inside of Iraq, and it turns out that she may have paid somebody to do it. Okay, good enough setup. What comes after that is a long stretch of convoluted plot points that revolve around officers getting paid off by a military company who's hired out to work inside these parts, who may be selling freaking weapons to the Taliban, and yeah, no, it was so stupid. I figured this out within 5 minutes. They weren't selling weapons. They were using the weapons to store drugs. They're bleeding money and they need a new revenue stream. You can't get that by selling guns on the black market. You only get that by selling drugs on the black market. Anybody who's seen a, episode of NCIS knows this plot. It is so basic. And somehow it gets tied in that Denika Raj, God damn it, it gets tied in that she's actually Jack Reacher's illegitimate daughter that he's had no idea about. And just by the by, you want to tell me that she's honestly 15 years old? I'm going to tell you bullshit. And not to say that her acting is bad per se, but she really is the weak link inside of this trio of people. She's always there nagging and whining, and do we really need this? I mean, not to mention Jack Reacher's being a dick to her most of the time, because if he's just her father, he's got to act like that stern fatherly figure, right? Oh god, this is so cliche bad. It's all stemming from the writing, so I can't blame the actors on this, but good lord, could somebody have seen this when they were reading the script? Maybe this was all in the book. I don't know. I'm probably never going to read those Jack Reacher books. It just needs to be said just how utterly painful this can be at times. And in all honesty, the bad guys really dropped the ball here. Even with a cliche premise like this, even with the leads not being as interesting, if you had the interesting bad guys, you could actually make this work. You had one interesting bad guy, you gave him 10 minutes of screen time. And I'm not going to kid you, I spent like 30 minutes trying to find this guy's actual name, but he's actually uncredited on IMDb. Seriously, can someone fix this? Because the company head guy, who I've seen him in a few things, I can't think of his name at the moment. I'll try to find a picture and place it there, but if I don't, he was actually interesting. He was conniving. He actually seemed like he had a plan, but instead we decided to focus on the hunter. And that's all he's called, and that's all I'm going to call him by, because honestly, this guy is so stupid. He's not a compelling bad guy. All he thinks of this whole chase with Jack Reacher as is competition. He doesn't give a shit about the whole company and whatnot. He's more obsessed with proving that he's the best. But why? He has no connection to Reacher, and as I said earlier, Reacher is not playing Reacher in this movie. He's never on top of anything. He's always getting his ass kicked. I mean, they lead to a couple of chase sequences that are okay, but that's about it. There's nothing in this rivalry here. And the action is trying to be brutal, especially the final fight scene between him and Tom Cruise. It's trying to be that in-your-face, bare-knuckles, just smash him up, but you can't really feel anything because you're not really invested inside of this feud of theirs. So, yeah. Honestly, I could keep going on and on about just this one aspect of the movie, but really, when you get right down to it, the movie's just dull. So, yeah, we might as well move on to bottom line, the movie is dull. The action is trying but doesn't really supersede that. The writing is cliche, and it really does just take a decent character, a really good and well-written character from the first movie, and kind of turn him into a bit of a incompetent asshole. My personal final verdict is, wait for Netflix. It's not worth wasting your money on. I wouldn't say go Redbox it when it comes out. If you see it on Netflix and you got nothing else to do, okay, put it on. But honestly, it's just no. Just a no. And that's it for me. Did you enjoy the video? Have you seen Jack Reacher? Tell me what you thought about it in the comments below. Maybe we'll get some healthy discussion going. And as always, if you like what you see, be sure to hit the like button, the share button, subscribe for more, like all YouTubers tell you to do. Be sure to follow me on all the social medias like Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter, all that kind of stuff. I will be doing some more stuff on Twitch here in the next little while. I know I keep promising that, but I'm working on getting that in an actual schedule. So, yeah, that's it for me, and I'll see you all next time.